Welcome to the second episode,
Episode 2 of the Freecom Podcast.
the Freecom Podcast.
I actually made a podcast before. I only have 2 episodes, but I did have a really unique intro that I recorded. Maybe we can do this, use this intro for this podcast.
Okay.
I'll show you after.
All right.
After this. All right. Let's jump straight in.
Yes, let's do
First
that.
question. This podcast will be mainly about taking action. First question: how do you go from consuming information to taking action?
It's very common situation. It's happened many times. I'm also familiar with this one, and I think that it's important when you start something new that you have to be. It's just like jumping in the water. Sometimes you just have to dive in and just do it, because if you wait too long and gather too much information, you will get some sort of information overload, and this information overload will give you too many things to think about, and just keep going, just dive in.
That's an interesting metaphor to start with. Because first of all, this question, it applies to every level. So people that are listening or watching right now and think this is only for beginners, think again. Because for me, some people would say I'm successful. People that are a lot more successful would say I'm not successful. Anyways, doesn't matter. Like on my level, I also have to deal with this. Like things that I have to do on this level that I'm overthinking and not taking action on. Like there's things that I know that I should be doing right now that I'm not doing because I'm overthinking it. And there's probably things that Elon Musk has to do that he knows he should be doing, but he's overthinking. So this applies to every level. I like the first metaphor because, as you know, I live with Abdi, and we also for example, we go train together, we do things together, challenges, and doing something like jumping in the water. So, for example, jumping from 10 meters into the water, that's, I think, a perfect example, or something related, not necessarily completely the same, but definitely something related. Most people, when they need to jump from 10 meters into the water, they will hesitate a lot. They will think about this a lot before they actually jump. And then you have people that just walk up, jump into the water. And this is more of a fear thing, which you see a lot in like extreme sports. Because I've done not like crazy things, but I've definitely done some extreme sports like skating, inline skating, where you can fall pretty hard, or like free running parkour kind of things. And there you see this a lot as well, where you have to do something which you know is risky and you can get hurt. Same as with jumping from 10 meters, it's scary. And the longer that you wait, the more information you get, and the lower the chance that you're going to do it, especially in that moment.
Especially when you when fear is the reason why you hesitate, you will gather information why you shouldn't do this, or things that are related to this emotion.
I think this is a perfect metaphor to business as well, because what happens when you're overthinking? You are most likely making up things that could happen in the future that could go wrong. So you're thinking from a place of fear. Same as when you need to jump from the 10 meters. You're thinking about everything that could go wrong, and therefore you're not going to do it. I think it's almost the same. What's happening between like taking action in, like, for example, jumping into the water, and taking action when it comes to business.
True.
Question is, how do we overcome this?
That's a great question, because sometimes the best thing is to um, to be first, so that you don't have to overcome it. And when you are aware of it, something that could be helpful is to make goals, to just make deadlines for yourself, to just do it. And the same thing like last episode, add something to it, pleasure or pain, that you just do it. And I'm saying this right now, but this is also something that is for me. When I say it, it's also for me important, because like Thomas said, every level has its own devil. So it will happen over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it again all comes down to mindset. And I like what you said about linking pain and pleasure. I think that's a very good way to. I think you have to brainwash yourself again.
Yes.
I think it always comes down to
Yes,
sort of brainwashing yourself. And when I say brainwashing yourself, maybe sounds kind of weird, but just working on your mindset so that you're able to do it. Because just as with jumping into the water, there's really no other thing that you have to do beside jump, beside take action, take the first step. I think that's what this is about, like taking the first step. And in the case of jumping into the water, the first step is immediately jumping. So maybe it's not a very good, it's not like completely the same, but it is getting over something. Like getting over something. And I think linking pain and pleasure, or at least train your mind so that you have control over the fear. And I think taking the route of pain and pleasure is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
To train this, or just like becoming aware of what is going on,
Mm-hmm.
and then putting it into perspective and realizing that the fear that you're creating in your mind, it's not there, it's not even real, it's something that you project into the future, something that it literally is not real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, it could happen, but it's not like a certainty that it happens, and it's really thinking about something that's not even there.
Mm-hmm.
Which
and,
is
and I like what you just said before. Steps, small steps. Take a little step, and again, and
Mhm.
again.
I think if we're talking about like jumping into the water, like start at 1 meter, go to 3 meters,
Mm-hmm.
like taking steps. Same as with most decisions that you have to make, it's almost never a decision where it's all in. Like you can slowly start to do something, but like taking the first action, that's often the hardest.
True.
Like in this case, starting a business, going to in the Netherlands, we have to go to the Chamber of Commerce to get our business to get our business into the system and making it official. I think that first step, it's like one of those first steps that's really important. But a lot of people don't even do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like you said, there's a devil on every level. Like if you already did that, then there's the next thing, like actually getting your Shopify account. And there's these things that you need to do and take action. But there's the big things people often struggle with, and it's like if we can make a video or a drawing right now, you have like if success is here,
Mm-hmm.
and start is here, then you have these big struggles that you have to overcome
Mm-hmm.
every time, and you have to take action to do this. First thing, go to Chamber of Commerce. Next, all right, when you've done that, you can start working on your business. You can start thinking about what you want to do. You can buy a course. You can consume all the information. And then there's the next big thing that you need to do. You actually need to build your website.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where a lot of people quit. And then the group that started here is getting smaller. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller at every step, because at every step you need to take action. And if you don't do it, then you're probably going to give up.
Mm-hmm.
So every step until you're at this point where there's only a small group of people left, and there's levels everywhere, and at every level you need to take action, and you need to realize that to grow to the next level you need to take that action. So then it's no longer something that you want to do, it's something that you must do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those realizations, one of those ways to sort of brainwash yourself into actually doing it. You're making it a must rather than something you want to do. And if you make it big in your head, like, and then you can link the pain and pleasure. All right, what if I don't do it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah. Now it's getting to where we talked about last episode, but let's not talk about the pain and pleasure thing too much, because that's what we discussed in the last episode. But yeah, I think if you need to take action, you need to, somewhere in your mind you need to decide to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, otherwise you're never going to take that action.
Yes, true. Is the power of making decisions, and even with this one, you can make
There's
small steps.
An animal on your beard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Small one.
Right. Small decisions. If you want to make a big step, you can make small decisions to get there, or to achieve this step, whatever it is. So, and this is something that you can train every day, every minute, to make a decision and be aware of the decisions that you make. And then something that is very big, you can start with, I decide to make this step today, and then you are a little bit closer. And then the next question is, what do I have to do? And then when you say to yourself, but I am afraid, or whatsoever, you can make the next decision, I decide to overcome my fear. And then, but how? And then if you still don't know how, you can make a decision to get closer and closer and closer. So sometimes it's good to not to be too harsh to yourself, and just split it in smaller steps to eventually do it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a very good one. Yeah, I think for most cases that's very good. There will probably be some cases where you really need to do one specific thing, so you cannot really break it down into smaller steps.
Mm-hmm.
But if we take the example of people that are starting their online business and going from consuming information, watching the course, to actually go to Shopify and build their store,
Mm-hmm.
breaking it down into smaller steps, like, all right, step 1, go to shopify.com. Step 2, and then just make it really simple, but like make it. Like,
Yes,
make the small steps in your head, or write it down, but actually make it, so that this big thing that you need to do, like build a website, now becomes all these very actually simple things.
Yes.
And you're already watching the course, so you already know what to do. But just breaking it down, now all of a sudden it's not that big thing that you need to do. It's just simple little things that you need to do, and over time you have a website. I think that's a very good one. And like you said, like, you can train this every day, and the more that you do this, the easier it becomes in the future as well. Like, the more hard things that you're doing, the more decisions on taking actions that you have to make,
Yes,
the
true.
better you get it in, and the easier it become. And I think there's also, like, it's like taking risk. There's fear, but overcoming that fear gives you the ability to take risks, and you need to take risks in order to get somewhere.
Indeed.
Like, for example, like Elon Musk. If I'm not sure if you're familiar with his story a little bit, but when he did a couple big all or nothings in his journey.
Yes,
Like,
I did.
crazy risks that I'm sure like 99.9% of the people would never take.
Would never.
Probably me. I'm if I'm honest, I'd probably never take a risk like that. Like, the things he did, the size of his risks.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at his story, there's probably situations before that led up to giving him the ability to take a big risk like that. Now, if those risks are smart, that's another topic. But just having the balls to take a risk like that, I think that's crazy. And I think it's because he already did things before.
Yes. Yes, I also think that.
You sort of train this, like for every level that you overcome, like in every level you grow, the big decision making part, it gets easier and easier. Like you get to action a lot faster. Once you have an idea, just do it and see how it goes.
Yes.
But then of course there's differences in an idea where you don't have a risk of losing something and an idea where you like have risk of losing everything. So that's also maybe a different topic.
But don't you think that you always lose something if you don't take action? You always lose something when you don't take action.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about in the episode before as well. Like you will always have that pain of knowing that you didn't take action.
Yes, and maybe something that is also important to mention is that if you are somebody who find it a little hard to get into action, take accountability partner. Take yourself accountable or somebody else that keeps you accountable.
Mm-hmm. That's also a great tip. Like something that has also played a big role in my journey, and I know for a lot of people. What I personally do, not always, but for example, last year, I think in October or September, I did my first dopamine detox. Like maybe not like completely shut off dopamine, but definitely I got rid of a few bad habits. And that was the first month, and I actually announced this on my Instagram. So now I have the accountability of all my followers.
Yes.
And this is something a lot of people with a decent following, or just any following, they'll do. They will announce that they're going to do something difficult, and now it's out there. So now you sort of have to do it, otherwise you look weak in front of all these people.
True. And don't forget that you also can keep yourself accountable with what I do is that every morning when I wake up, the second or the third thing that I do is I write something down, what is the theme or my intention for the day, for today. And then you can keep yourself accountable because you wrote it down, and at the night or the next morning you can see it, and you can keep yourself accountable. It's a little training because you can say, oh well.
That's requires discipline already, I think, because most people they'll just, oh well, I didn't do it, I'll try again tomorrow.
Indeed, but it's still kind of handy to just write it down. It's better to write it down than definitely just do nothing. And
because I think writing it down is already the first action. Indeed. So you've already taken that first step. It's the first small step. You're breaking it down. Like we get to the breaking it down part again. Like you're breaking it down. Writing down is the first step. You already put some energy to it. You already set something in motion.
Yes.
I think
small steps.
And also accountability. Of course, you don't have to necessarily announce it on a social media platform or anything. You can also just tell your parents, tell a friend, make a deal. Something that we also do sometimes is have a really big bet of a really large sum of money, so that there's literally no other way. You just have to do it. Like, and I think that's actually a very good one. Just if you're really struggling with taking action and you really struggle with doing it on your own, and you just can't get yourself to go to work and take action, just make a contract, sign it with whoever, your mom, your dad, your friend, your sister, your brother, anyone, and just say, all right, if I don't have a website before this date, you will get $100,000 from me. Like a contract. Maybe it's even better to not do it with someone you know, but someone you don't know that well, because your mom might say, well, you didn't do it, well, I'm not going to ask $100,000 from you.
But I still love you though.
Yeah. Yeah, or she is going to say, all right, give me the $100,000. But I think in most cases, your mom is probably not going to say, all right, now you have to give me $100,000.
Indeed.
Like, maybe find someone that you don't know that well that's actually going to charge you the money. And then if $100,000 at stake, believe me, you're going to get to work. Like, you're going to build that website. It's not worth not building a website for 100K. Like putting yourself into a position where you literally have no other choice.
True.
And that's the root of being the root of being very hard on yourself. But that's something some people might need. Like, everyone's different, and I'm sure some people need something like that to get to take action.
Indeed. And it's still, once again, if you really want it, if it's really the thing that you really want the most, but still you find it hard to make this steps or this point of action, what you also can do is hire a coach or a mentor, somebody who's just in your life, just to keep you on the right track. And this is something that is very important, also for me. When I'm all myself and with my friends, they always I can always talk them out of with any excuse, if I'm be honest, because I'm a great talker, I'm a great storyteller, so they always believe me, like, all right. But a coach or something that you hired, he's just no bullshit, just do it. You are going to do it no matter what. Why it didn't work, just do it. We find it out. So this is something what's helpful.
That's also, like, a coach is someone that you don't know that well, especially if you're new. Like, if you hire a coach and you make a contract like I just mentioned, he's probably not going to say, oh, well, we'll try again next time. So for everyone that's in the program right now, if you're really struggling to take action, just reach out to us with your contract.
And we will sign
it's also a good new business model for us. If you don't make it.
If you don't make it.
No, but really, like, I'm down to sign that contract. Like, if that's what you need to get to work, reach out to us, set up a contract, say, all right, I'm going to do this and this before this date. If I didn't do it, you'll get 100K. Man, you can even say you get 10 million. If I'm not doing it, that means the rest of my life I'm working for Thomas to pay him the 10 million. Like, that's definitely something you do not want. So just make it really big and put yourself in a situation where it's just a no-brainer to actually do it.
Yes.
I think that's the more extreme approach, but again, some people might need that.
Indeed.
Right. We have another question. When to make a decision and stop overthinking? It's a pretty similar question.
So maybe it's good to bring a case.
When to make a decision and stop overthinking. So something that applies to a lot of people.
Maybe some beginner case and some more advanced.
Yeah. So for a beginner case, I think a big step is, if we're really talking about e-commerce, is running ads, which means you're spending money. I think that's, for a lot of people, is a scary thing to do. So maybe that's a good point of action that is a little bit scary. Because so let's just go with that one first. So a lot of people, they build their website, they found products, and then they need to start advertising, but they are overthinking all the things that could go wrong, like my website is not good, my products are not good, stuff like that. And running a business in general is just a big testing phase. Always, you're constantly looking for new strategies, testing new things, but also things that already work, optimizing them, which means you're testing with things that are already working. A business is just a matter of testing, and see what works better. Like, you could even say life is just one big A/B test. Like, you test something, all right, that's not nice, so I need to stop doing that. I need to do this. So you're constantly testing things. Same as if you're in a position where you need to spend money and you're not necessarily going to get that money back immediately, or there's a risk of losing that money. You need to do this in order to get to the next level. Because if you're not going to spend any money, nothing's going to happen. Like, nobody's getting nobody's doing 10k a day without spending anything as a beginner. Like, of course there's way to do it organically, but even that requires work. So I think spending money is a really big point of action that for a lot of people is very scary to do.
Yes. And overthinking. What was the question?
So overthinking in this case is thinking about, all right, my website's not good enough, my products are not good enough. What if what if my ads don't work? Stuff like that. It's not like, for me, of course, it sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but I can imagine if you're new and you don't, maybe you already don't have that much money, and you need to spend the very little money that you have. You need to spend it on something of which you don't know it's going to make you money. That's a very scary thing to do. So how do you stop overthinking and actually make the decision to, all right, I'm going to run the ads? It's almost a case of like how to stop being a perfectionist.
Indeed. And it's like Leonardo da Vinci said that perfectionism freezes a person, because it's impossible to do something perfect, and you just have to be okay with all those things that you are overthinking about. So just it's the same, like we've already said, like the just do it mindset, and to be okay with small things.
I think again it comes down what we've already talked about. It's very similar. You need to, in your mind somewhere, make a switch, and that's either through like linking pain and pleasure, having a big why, having an accountability partner. Those are the things that you need to do. Like, in the end, it's a matter of you needing to take an action, and there's only two things that can happen. One, your life stays completely the same, and you always have that pain of, I should have taken action, I should have done this,
I should have.
You decide to live with that. You can suppress these feelings with alcohol and drugs a little bit. All right, good luck. Or second option is taking the action, and no matter what happens, it will always be better, because or you fail and you learn, which means you don't really fail because you learned what didn't work, so you can do it differently the next time until you find the right way and you get to success, or it does work and you get to success. Either way, if you continue, you'll always get to success.
Yes, and I like that the A/B testing. What you just mentioned is that it's better to just try something. Just try something. Just do something. Just try it, and when it's not working out, do something else. And once again, it's better to do little things than think about something big and work it out, and then you will fail, make a big mistake.
Yeah, I think you have to realize that taking the action in the long term and sometimes also in the short term, is always going to lead to better things. Even if that's not true, like hypothetically, if that's not true, still brainwash yourself to believe this,
Yes.
because that's simply what you need to do.